Hey everybody, it's me Edward Jones back with a new video. This is just a few quick tips on care and maintenance for your Reload All shot shell reloader. I'm in the process of getting my reloader set up for slugs. So before I can start doing that, I wanted to be able to make sure that that I have everything cleaned and oiled and set up for a new powder. Uh, just kind of some new things, some like new different types of wads, stuff like that. That's gonna be going through the shot shell reloader. So the first thing I did was this is the hopper. This is just a sticker I placed on the front of it. This is the hopper, so the powder goes in this side, and your shot normally goes in here. But because I've only been reloading buckshot, number 4 and double lot, I never had to use this. So I've exclusively used this section of the hopper system for powder. What I did was before I took all this apart, I got a funnel. This is the powder I've been using for buckshot since 2011. And sadly, they don't make this powder anymore. Some pretty good stuff. Basically, I just tilted the whole hopper over into this funnel to put all the powder back into this container. And, and you're not gonna get all of it because through using this, powder just seems to go places. Um, and so you'll generally have powder maybe build up in certain areas. If you ever use grease or oil in certain spots, um, it may have collected a lot of powder over time. So you may have, over time if you're using this, you just have to clean it off. But right now, I'm doing a kind of a full clean just to get ready for a new brand of powder. And so that's one of the reasons why I had all the powder out, so that I had no powder. I didn't have one brand mixed with the other. So this is nice and clean. Just front plate. There was some powder residue on here. I cleaned that off as well. Might have to do a little cleaning on the front of this. For now, because you have steel components, some of it will have surface rust. Like for example, this is the anvil for the primers for seating new primers. I had to use some cleaning solution on this. I use Goo Gone, by the way, for all the plastic parts. But anything that had powder residue on it, Goo Gone works very well. I guess you could also use Hoppy's number 9 since it's a powder solvent. But I found this stuff that works very nicely. But there was some surface rust on the anvil. So one thing I did was I took it over to the wire wheel just to clean off all the light surface rust that was on this. But if you don't have access to a wire wheel, or you don't want to use anything that's just too aggressive, you can always use this as nail jelly, Loctite rust dissolver, and this is some good stuff. All you have to do is brush it on. In about 30 minutes, it'll change the rust into a compound that's easier to clean off the surface. So it gets all the rust out of pitted surfaces. It can also dissolve heavily built up rust, but you may have to let it sit on the metal for a little bit longer, even do multiple treatments. A good example. This is the base of the whole set. Now, here's some light surface rust that's on one of these arms. Hope you guys can see that. And this is after several hours actually, after just rubbing it down with some navel jelly. So I'm gonna go back over with this, just kind of rub off that residue, and then I'm gonna give this nice coat of I guess like a nice coat of oil, just to keep the surface protected from any further rust. The same thing can also happen to your reloading dies. So if you have like a turret press, you want to make sure that you check it for rust so that it doesn't compromise the integrity of the reloading dies. Another thing I cleaned with Goo Gone was the charging bar. Also one of the dies that was in here for the power dispensing. I cleaned that off, and it worked pretty well. There's very light wear on this. I've had this thing since, like I said, 2011. But I took pretty good care of it, but even then it still had to be taken apart and cleaned up. One of the things that does happen often when using this, I don't know if it happens with with the mech systems or I think it's RCBS reloaders. You may get powder that just falls off because it just works its way out of certain spots. Sometimes you just have to keep track of that kind of stuff. But make sure your charge bar is in good shape, because this is actually determining how much powder will leave the hopper into the dies. And if this is this surface is kind of rough, you can have a lot more powder leakage, which can be very, it can be infuriating, because I mean, we don't spend money to have all our powder just end up on the floor. This is a return spring, and it sits inside of this square tube, and it just basically looks like a rebound. It allows for the ram to go down and allows it to come back up. And this is in good shape. I may give this a little light coat of oil, but it's in great shape so far. Another plastic part. I believe this actually sits inside of the hopper. It's actually kind of like a follower. So the spring fits in like this, and this is in good shape. It had some powder residue on it as well, so I used the glue gun to clean it off. The shell holder holds the shell for when you're doing your crimping and your final crimp. And this is good. It looks pretty good. The bluing on it is still in great shape, so nothing has to be done to this. All the screw heads in great shape. So also, if you haven't taken yours apart, use gunsmithing screwdrivers, because it's the same thing with, you need flat ground screws, flat ground screwdriver heads to get a good seat inside these screw heads. But if you don't have that, luckily these are 6-sided screw heads. You can use this like a screwdriver with an attachment on the end of it to get these out effortlessly. Let's see. Here's a resizing die that comes with it. I treat this with some. This has never gotten rust on it, but I would treat it with just a lubricant of some type. Usually I have maybe some Triflow, or maybe just some Lucas Red and Tacky grease. Just get some on there, and it keeps it well lubricated. A lubricant I'm going to use for this whole system is this Triflow Superior Dry Lubricant. It's a graphite base. It has to be shaken up pretty vigorously to get everything flowing properly, but it works pretty well, especially on surfaces that you don't want a lot of grease or oil coming off it to where it can attract a lot of dust. This is a station. This is the part that comes down on top of all your hulls. Here's your depriming and resizing station. Here's a repriming station. Sorry, this is depriming and resizing. This is repriming. This is the powder and shot dispenser, and these two are for your 6 or 8 star crimps, and this is for your final crimp. And generally there will be powder on this, so I actually wash this in the sink. You don't want to use something like acetone or something like this, because it could damage the surface, and it compromises integrity, because acetone is very strong on particular plastics, so on polymers. There are these lugs on the ends, so the bar that you use for reloading, it pivots on this. This can use a nice like a light coating of a lubricant, just to keep everything nice and freely moving. But everything on here right now has been cleaned off. Last but not least, here's this steel tube. This is made of aluminum, I believe, and it's very lightweight. Over time there will be scoring marks up and down this section, just from normal operation over the years. It just gets has like these wear marks. And so what I found that works to kind of smooth everything back out. I cleaned this off with hot soapy water. And one thing I did was I took quadruple lot steel wool and just rubbed this down to kind of get rid of that, this sheen. You can see these marks. This is running up and down, and this is the side where I use the steel wool. Another side where it just has a lot of fingerprints on it, but it's smoothed out very well. And that's just to ensure that the reloader will operate with less hang-ups. But that's my video. I hope you guys enjoyed it. If you guys have this set up, please share your thoughts. What do you think of this reloader? Are there better ones out there? I know there are. This is a very budget-friendly reloader, but it was very, very good for me in terms of reloading buckshot, and I think it would be pretty good for reloading slugs. When I have everything put together, I hope to have a slug video in the works. I'm waiting for a few other tools to come in the mail, and I'll be able to do it. I'll do a demonstration video on how to make your own shotgun slugs. But please share your thoughts. Leave a comment section. Like, share, and subscribe. If you want to make a donation to the channel to help with projects like this, look for the give up that cheese button on the YouTube homepage and take you to PayPal. Make a donation amount of any amount you like. Any gripes, complaints, send me a PM. I see what I do to address them. But that's my video. This has just been a short tutorial on cleaning and maintaining your Lee Load All number 2. I'm Edward Jones. You guys take care and God bless.